As an investor, receiving dividends can be one of life's greatest notifications on your phone, and it feels just absolutely amazing to receive these. The idea of receiving dividends that grows and grows as your portfolio grows has been an alluring thing on YouTube, especially over the past few years. In fact, the most popular pie on Trading 212 is the almost daily dividends pie, which I've covered before, and it was a very popular video, mind you. This pie is copied by over 212,000 people, which just shows you how popular dividends are. However, what if I told you that dividend paying stocks have never been interesting to me? And in this video, I'm going to be explaining my reasons as to why. Now, as always, to make these videos, I'm using the Trading 212 app. And if you would like to sign up to Trading 212 and receive a free fractional share worth up to £100, then all you have to do is to follow the link in the description box down below or scan this QR code over here. Alternatively, if you've already signed up to Trading 212 over the past 10 days but haven't received your free fractional share, then all you have to do is to press the 3 horizontal line menu over here. Then scroll all the way down until you see the section Use Promo Code. And in this section, just use the code JUBAIR and you should receive a free fractional share. Now, here is a very popular stock that actually does pay out dividends. If you scroll down on Trading 212, there's a section called Dividend Yield. I would always double check this, by the way. I don't think Trading 212 always has the latest numbers. And obviously, the dividend yield is a reflection of the share price too, so that will change too. Now, my first big problem with dividend paying stocks is that they are stocks. So if you want to get into dividend paying stocks, you're going to have to stock pick, and I am not the biggest fan of stock picking. Now, stock picking comes with many risks that, investing into a broad market ETF may not. The first one is diversification. Now, of course, as a stock picker, you have to determine how much diversification is enough for you. If you over-diversify, then you could potentially lose to the market. If you don't diversify enough, then some of your holdings that do go down may drag your entire portfolio down. Now, as an investor, this is not something that I want to worry too much over picking stocks and all the risk that comes with it. We all know by now that picking individual stocks typically comes with a lot more volatility than something like a broad market index. Remember, not all ETFs are built the same. Some have low diversification built into them. But if we are talking about an all-world fund, for example, even that isn't safe from volatility. But compared to an individual stock, there could be a lot more volatility with the individual stock. Now, the main reason as to why I don't pick dividend-paying stocks is because I would never pick a stock or an ETF just because it has a high dividend yield. Now, this comes with several problems. The first one being that dividends aren't actually free payments. A company can only really declare dividends if it has made a certain amount of profit. It's not going to share all of its profits with you, but it will share a significant amount. Now, those dividends get announced and they get put aside, and essentially that's where the dividend yield comes from. It's a percentage of the total value of the stock. Now, when a dividend is paid out, do notice that the value of the stock actually goes down, and that's to reflect the amount of dividend actually being paid out. That means there's no such thing as a free lunch. That's coming out of the profits of a company. Now, if the company chose not to pay out dividends and instead chose to reinvest that money back into the company, you could often argue that they could better utilize those profits on reinvestment rather than giving out to the shareholders. But there, of course, are some benefits of giving out money to shareholders and, of course, as a company, increasing dividends year on year. You build trust with the shareholders, and as a public company, unfortunately, whether or not you like to admit it, what the shareholder thinks is very important. It could make or break your company. So conversely, if a company is in trouble and it's not producing enough profit, then it would make sense to actually just cut the dividends. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that a company has no obligation to continue paying dividends. Now, once the dividends are announced, don't worry, that company does typically have to pay that out, but they could cut subsequent dividends. Now, an example of a company which cut its dividends during the pandemic is actually Walt Disney. Now, if you look carefully, you can see that a dividend yield has reappeared, but for many years, Disney stopped paying out dividends. And if you are a shareholder who was expecting their dividends as part of whatever you've planned financially, then that could be quite upsetting, given the fact that, Walt Disney, for example, was a very established business, and you wouldn't expect it from the likes of them. Now, going back to my point that, the dividends could be better used for profit, oftentimes, not always, these days, there's a lot of good high dividend yield paying companies that are also performing good. But let's take Disney for an example. Again, this might not be a perfect example, but you can see over the past year, the company has gone down by over 3%. Now, this obviously isn't directly attributed to the fact that they are paying a dividend. But from my experience, dividend paying companies often don't perform as well as companies who don't focus on dividends. Now, like I said, Walt Disney is not the best example. 1.17% as a dividend yield is really not that high, but I just wanted to use it as an example while I was already here. Let's use Realty Income, for example. This could be classified as an REIT or a REIT. But when talking about dividends, this is usually one company that comes up, and by law, REITs have to pay out a certain percentage, a high percentage of their profits in terms of dividends. Now, you can see since 2019, the growth has been very poor. In fact, it's lost about 10% of its value since then. And the company has a very high dividend yield by design, about 5%. So yeah, you could be receiving a constant income through dividends, but if you are young, you might want to look into something that has more growth instead of just focusing on income. And that's why I prefer to just invest into a broad market ETF. This is not a recommendation at all, by the way. This is not what I invest into. But you can see since 2020, the Vanguard FTSE All World, which is basically investing in the entire world stock market, is up by around 90%. Now, before I said I don't invest into individual dividend paying stocks, but I also don't invest into high yield dividend ETFs. So let's compare the performance between the Vanguard FTSE All World and the Vanguard fund that invests into high dividend yield companies. So this is the Vanguard FTSE All World High Dividend Yield, and this does what I just spoke about before, invests into companies technically around the world that have a high dividend yield. When we look at country allocation, we can see we're only 40% in the USA, Japan is around 9%, and the UK is around 7%. So it's actually pretty well globally diversified. Now, I'm actually impressed by its performance over the past year, which is up by over 16%. However, it all breaks down when you actually compare a bit of a longer term performance. So since around 2019, the fund is up by only around 48%. Yes, there is a good dividend yield, but even when you add dividends to its growth, you can see that focusing just on dividends a lot of the time means the growth isn't quite the same as companies who don't really care about dividends. Now let's compare the 5-year analyzed performance between the VHYL, which is around 11.37%, which is actually pretty decent. Now, comparing the 5-year analyzed return with the VWRP, you can see the VHYL is actually superior. However, when we compare the 3-year analyzed performance and the 1-year analyzed performance and take into consideration the same time frame, we can actually see that the Vanguard FTSE All World has beaten out the performance of the Vanguard High Dividend Yield Fund. Now, let's get the scale the exact same so we can actually compare. So the Vanguard FTSE All World High Dividend Yield over the past 5 years is up by around 53.38%. And the Vanguard FTSE All World Distributing Fund, remember this pays out dividends, is up by 55.72%. So at first glance, the VWRP has performed better because not only is the 5-year performance pretty much the same, it pays a much higher dividend yield. However, things change quite a bit when you compare it with the VWRP, which is the same fund as the VWRL, but instead, the dividends are reaccumulated automatically. And remember how I said I don't care about specifically going for something just because of its dividends? That doesn't mean that I don't invest into companies that just happen to actually pay out dividends. Now, a small amount of dividends could be pretty good for a company, but when a company decides to have a very high dividend yield to attract investors, that's when I don't specifically look for a company just because of its dividends. So make sure to check out some of my other videos and I'll see you in the next video.